Okay, I'm going to walk through a little bit of a suggestion how to start the mini MUDAC challenge. Um, of course, you should always try to start these challenges by reading the challenge questions here. Everyone has to do the novice questions, so you should, of course, start with those. And there's a novice spreadsheet, which is a smaller data set, which opens well in Excel, and it's an Excel spreadsheet, so you should probably download that and open that here. So um, I'm going to walk through a similar thing, but with a Kaggle challenge and talk about how in this Kaggle challenge, people solve similar problems. So in Kaggle, we're going to scroll down and to their getting started data. And we're just going to do this first one. There's two house price ones, an advanced and a starting one. I think you can just do this beginning one. It's similar to the novice data set here. You might have to log into Kaggle and then you can go to the data. And I'm just going to download that. You don't necessarily have to download it, but I'm just going to download it because I like that. So I'm just going to go down here. And it has a file, a CSV file of the training data. I'm just going to download that here. So that once I download that, I actually click download all and download it all into this folder. It downloads a CSV file, but I really want it as an Excel spreadsheet. So I've opened up this CSV file as a spreadsheet and saved it as a spreadsheet here, because again, that is what you are getting. Your data is in a spreadsheet format. It's in an XLSS spreadsheet. So I've opened it up. I've converted this CSV to an Excel spreadsheet to start with. So here's our data. We're supposed to predict the selling price of a house based on these different categories of data there. So we're supposed to predict the sales price, which is a numeric value here. And again, there's about, I don't know, a couple thousand records in this data set. Let's scroll down and see. 1,400. So it's a small data set, but a good data set. And again, a mixture of numeric values and like categorical values, like the type of neighborhood here, or the lot configuration, 1 or 2 stories, type of rough gable or hip, type of shingles, type of exterior siding here for this. So now, one thing you're going to want to look at in your challenge questions is what influence do the various, well, you're going to be looking at predicting our two main data points, right? In your data, the match length and the closure region. So if I look in novice, the match length is a numeric value right at the end here. And that's like we're doing in the other thing, we're trying to predict the house price, but here's the match length. So this is just a numeric value we're going to try to predict here. And the other one is the closure region. We want to try to understand why it was closed. Now let's see, where's closure region here. Here's the closure region is in my spreadsheet was R here. And again, that's a kind of categorical data. So volunteer, child graduate, child lost interest, volunteer lost contact, volunteer feels incompatible with family. So again, there's these different regions, but there's probably a set number of values there. So kind of categorical data. So we're going to try to look at similar data here. And again, one of the things they're looking is how do the response variable distributions vary across program type? How do response variables distributions change over time? Understand, analyze the distributions here, and what influence do the various demographic variables have on these response variables here, and what influence does the alignment of some other interests? So some of this is more complicated, but let's just start with some of these. Look at the relationship between these different variables. This is what we typically call exploratory data analysis, or EDA here for this. So we'll be doing this with our spreadsheet. And again, in our data, we have in this data, we have different stuff. So again, we're trying to predict house conditions. We have the year it was built, the year it was remodeled, overall quality score. Also, we have things like the shingle, the roof style, and exterior siding. And some of these are categorical and some are not here. So again, working with a spreadsheet here. Again, I'm going to skip over some of the data cleanup stuff initially. You might want to be looking at that, but I'm going to start just analyzing this data. So I like to do is put in um, start with the pivot table. I always start my data analysis in spreadsheets with pivot tables here. So I'm just going to select all my data here, hold down Shift and click down here, do an insert pivot table. And again, it should have your range, and I do a new worksheet. It'll create a new worksheet here for us. And again, this is how a pivot table works. You can select what features here we want to look at. So let's just say we want to compare, look at the comparison of shingle type to price or something like that, or something like that. So I can look at, so I have all these different values here. Let's see where I want to go down. Let's do roof style. And again, I'm going to put that in my rows. So here's the different kinds of roofs. And then I'm going to display um, the sales price down here. So right now it's summing all the sales price here. I'm going to actually switch this. I want maybe I want more like the average of the sales price. So I'm going to go average sales price here. And again, this is a number. So let's convert this back into a number, dollar amount. I don't care about the cents here. So you can see, and the different values here. And again, maybe you want to graph this. You can graph this directly here. For saving graphs, I actually copy and paste this data somewhere else here, and then graph this because I'll be changing this spreadsheet over and over. I'm going to move this down here. And then just do a graph of this. I have trouble visualizing numbers without seeing an actual graph here. Let's just do a box graph there. So again, looks like maybe hip roofs and shed roofs are more expensive in general than these other kinds of roofs. So you can see data like that. So again, you can go back to your spreadsheet and look at things. Now let's look if we want to do two categorical data things here. Get rid of this price here. And look at roof style, and let's see. Let's do siding level. So I'm going to do, where's my siding? Exterior, yeah, the first exterior, I think. Let's put that there. And maybe you just want to count, see the relationship, how, is there do some roof styles have some exterior sidings and stuff like that? So now if I want to count it, last time I put the sales price down in value, and I could look at that again, but here I'm just going to count. So I'm going to count a unique value. I'm just going to count the ID. And again, here it's summing the ID, but I don't want that. I want to do a count of the ID. So I'll count how many people, let me move this here. So here's my fields, my roof types and my types of sidings here. So some of these are like metal siding and plywood siding and stuff. We didn't clean up the data. So one thing I am going to probably do here is just get rid of some things. There's one, I don't know what asphalt shingles are. There's one of those and one of these and one cement block. For now, I'm just going to maybe ignore those. I'm just going to go in here and choose to ignore some of these things that are not very common. I don't think I did that right. Okay, and I'm going to ignore this with intermediate stucco and stone for now. Just I want to focus on the main things that have where I have some data. That looks good. Okay. Um, for this, and so this is some count, and I have some values in here. So this is the count of how many rows and stuff I have in these different areas. So I can see like, are there more in gabled roofs? Are there more hardboard or cement board ones for this? Now I can see right away here there are a lot more gabled roofs than there are any other than hip roofs or anything. So there are a lot of gabled roofs here. So it makes me make sure I want to not show amounts, but probably percentages for all this. And same here, there are a lot more just wooden siding and vinyl sidings. There's 500 vinyl sidings and only 25 stuccos. So again, I don't probably want to look at actual values, but maybe um, some um, some counts or something like that. Looking here and I'm seeing only 7 and 2 of these. I think I'm going to get rid of shed. Well, I don't think there's enough shed roofs to be useful there, so I'm just going to get rid of that or hide that for now. And again, then you can try again to plot this. Again, you can do here you can do pivot charts directly. There's these pivot charts you can work with. I'm old school and I learned this before, so I'm used to just highlighting this data, like I said before. I'm not going to do the grand totals here. I'm just going to put this down here. And again, I'm going to do a graph of that, insert some sort of graph here. So let's do a graph like this. Um, Again, this kind of shows for plywood or metal siding, there's a lot more gable roofs than flat roofs or something like that. But again, we know there's just a lot more gable roofs in general, so maybe this is not that useful of a chart. I'm gonna delete that and do this again. But with percentages, let's try, I guess, I could calculate percentages, but if I do this chart, 100% checked, stacked chart, that'll do the same thing, right? So here's my different values here, my different siding types, and then how much of each roof type. So I can see like with this, there's a lot more gabled roofs, a higher percentage of gables than in this here. And so I can see that. I can also flip this around. Let's see, I can switch my rows and columns and see this is roof type and then how the different sidings match the roof types for this. So this is a type of analysis you should be doing, going through this, creating lots of pivot tables, analyzing this data, looking for relationships and stuff here that you can do in Excel. But I don't like doing, well, this is fine in Excel, but that's not what I teach. So let's look at the next step, and that is moving this into Colab in Python and doing more things. So again, this is a spreadsheet file. I'm going to want to move it into Colab, and I want to do this as so I need a CSV file, comma separated value. So from here, I'm going to just choose, I'm going to be in my data tab. Oops, where did that go? So I'm going to make sure I'm in my training data tab. I'm going to do save as, uh, save this, but move this to CSV. And I'm going to make sure I choose this UTF-8. That's the common way. There's an old way. I don't know where it is. There's another way, comma separated values here, but generally we do this UTF-8 version nowadays. So I just do that and it'll add the CSV here. I've already done this one, so I'm just going to give it another name. And And again, it's only going to export this one sheet. Concept values does not allow like these pivot tables in multiple sheets, so it just warns you that it's not going to do that. So now I have my data out there. I'm going to go and go into Colab and open this up. So let me pause and run Colab here. Okay, so I'm in Google Drive. I'm going to do new. I'm going to do more, and I'm going to do Colab, Google Collaboratory. Um, yeah, create here is fine. And now I want to bring in my data here. So again, on this little left sidebar here is my file things here. And I'm going to, just wait a second, I'm going to do upload, upload. Let's see, where did this data go? I just saved this as the training Tom CSV file. I'm going to open that up. And again, it's going to warn you that it won't keep this permanently. It's just going to bring it in while this collab is running. And once you close this collab window, this will go away. So just temporary analysis here. No. What I like about Colab now is you can access Gemini right over here for like generating code and stuff. Well, actually over here, you can ask Gemini questions. You can click here and have Gemini analyze files for you and start working with AI. And I believe AI is certainly allowed in this challenge. So I certainly recommend you look at that here. So, but let's just start with some of the basics here. We want to bring this in to uh, this CSV file into a data frame. So I'm going to just ask AI. Here, let's just do it here. Help me import train CSV into a Panda data frame. Generally, we work with Panda data frames for bringing in all the data. So we don't have to actually install Panda. It's going to tell us to do that. We don't want to have to do that. We're going to do our import here and do this. Now, what I recommend you consider doing is if you've had the machine learning course, you probably have oops, a notebook out there that has a bunch of imports. So like I just have a standard set of imports that import lots of stuff. So I just bring all of those in. But you can also just start with this. And then we're going to read the CSV file. So again, I'm just going to put that there and run that. Now I like to have my data frames labeled a little better. Using training. Oops. I'm going to do that here. And again, just like we learned in there, let's just add some code here. I can do like a DF housing head. I was just gonna do head and it suggested the same thing. Like when Gemini thinks the same we do. So again, it's just showing my first columns and what are some of my initial values here. Here's the sales price we're trying to predict and stuff here. So now you can start doing some visualization here and stuff like that. You can type the code here, or you can ask AI for your help here. So we are looking at, let's just look at and try to replicate some of our, where's this? Some of our data we looked at here. Um, we looked at how roof price or roof type reflected on values or are related to values. So again, here I'm going to want to ask, make sure I save this. Where's my, I think I lost my, here. Okay. There you go, house, right. I'm just gonna save that, give it a name. Okay, sorry about that. Okay. So again, I can ask it. So help me visualize the relationship between I like to refer to these and be a little more careful, try to cite exact types. So I want, yeah. Um, I don't see the rift. Oh, I think I was actually looking at the more advanced Kaggle data now that I look at it. Uh, I thought I was looking at the basic stuff, but I don't see that here. So I think this may have been, no, but this had all the data in it. Oh, I think I just imported the wrong stuff, right? So let me try this again. Let me pause this and clear this up. Oh, I know it's my problem. I was missing these dot, dot, dot. There are 81 columns here, but it's not showing them here. I can switch to this view and see them better here. So see if it's showing one. So again, I want to, well, maybe I'll add this. Well, here, I'm going to just try here. I can also type in list all the columns, all the features in DF housing train. And again, it should put the code there for you if you just type the comments and we can read that. So here's our columns here. So we want to be looking at the housing. We looked at the eating. Let's see if I can find that. Roof type. Where's my, yeah, roof style. I'm going to look at roof style. Compare the ratio between roof style and sale price. It's again now importing some more stuff here. So I'm actually going to go put that up in my top imports and just do that all and run that. And again, if I just did imported everything at once, I could have done that. You don't have to do any of these installs, of course, here with this, but now down here, I can be trying this out and showing some of these plots. Oh, the other thing again we looked at was the relationship between roof style and exterior first. So I can ask, help me visualize. I actually like to see in different ways, uh like I could say three different ways the relationship between exterior siding and roof style. And again, it'll show me different solutions, and I like to see those. Okay. So again, same thing with your stuff. You should be able to take your novice.xl file, probably download it and save it as CSV. You might, I don't know. Let's just ask. Uh, uh, how do I convert an Excel, an XLSX file into a Panda data frame? So there looks like there is a special library you can open up and just bring in your Excel file and convert it. So that might be a nice way to do. I have never used that before, but it's just in pandas. And it looks like you can just do pandas that read this and use this open PLX file. I wonder if that will work here. So when I tried to do this, oops, yeah, let's see if that'll work. It didn't find the file. Try that again. I didn't even have to do this again installed. It's a lot of these packages are already installed in Colab. So, and this was already done. So yeah, you can just import your Excel file. Again, so used to using CSV files, I forget that. You can just import your Excel file, it looks like, and bring that into a data frame and start working with that. So now, I get tired of always every time I start this up importing these files. I actually kind of cheat. I like to push all these files into GitHub, and then in my code, I just uh, read these from GitHub. And then I just run this and this will import all the files. That's what we do in class all the time. But again, for what you're doing, you can probably just do what we're doing here. Every time you do this, just import the one file you want and then work with that. So, okay, so again, overview, you want to look at the challenges. You're going to be opening and looking at this spreadsheet. I'm doing the same thing with this house data and working with that and analyzing that. See if that helps. Stop this.